In January of 1947, the body of Elizabeth Short was discovered in a vacant lot south of downtown Los Angeles, and the city's uneasy calm fractured overnight. The morning light revealed a scene that would haunt investigators for generations. The lot was quiet, bordered by modest post-war homes and empty tracts of grass browned by winter air. A mother pushing a stroller was the first to notice what she thought was a discarded mannequin, pale and oddly positioned. When she realized it was human, she ran to a nearby house to call the police. Within minutes, squad cars rolled up, tires crunching over gravel, radios crackling with clipped voices. Officers stepped carefully through the scene, their shoes sinking slightly into the damp soil. The body had been meticulously arranged, and the precision of the injuries suggested deliberate control rather than chaos. Reporters soon gathered at the perimeter, their flashbulbs cutting through the haze as detectives shielded the view with their coats. The name Elizabeth Short would soon fill headlines, but in that first hour, she was simply an unidentified young woman whose life had ended in silence. The city around her continued its morning routines, streetcars clattering, vendors opening stalls, unaware that a mystery had just taken root in its heart. The air carried a faint metallic scent mixed with the exhaust of passing cars, and the officers worked methodically, marking evidence with small numbered cards. A photographer crouched low to capture the scene from multiple angles, his camera shutter clicking steadily. The coroner's van arrived, its doors swinging open with a hollow sound, and the body was lifted with care, wrapped, and taken away. The lot emptied slowly, leaving only footprints, tire tracks, and the lingering sense that something far darker than anyone yet understood had unfolded there. By late morning, the area was cordoned off with rope and wooden stakes, and uniformed officers kept back a growing crowd of onlookers. The winter sun hung low, throwing long shadows across the uneven ground. Detectives from the Los Angeles Police Department's Homicide Division arrived in unmarked sedans, stepping out with notebooks and cigarettes in hand. They moved deliberately, speaking in low tones, noting distances, angles, and the condition of the soil. A crime scene sketch artist crouched near the curb, tracing outlines and landmarks with a steady pencil. The coroner's team documented every visible mark before transporting the remains to the county morgue for examination. Inside the sterile, tile-walled room, the autopsy began under bright overhead lamps that hummed faintly. The findings were grim and precise, confirming the brutality of the act and the deliberate staging of the body. News of the discovery spread quickly through Los Angeles, carried by radio bulletins and afternoon papers. Reporters crowded the police station lobby, demanding statements, while telephone operators struggled to manage the flood of calls. Detectives worked through the night, cross-referencing missing persons reports, searching for any woman matching the victim's description. When identification finally came through fingerprints, the name Elizabeth Short was matched to a young woman who had drifted through Hollywood's social circles. Officers visited boarding houses, cafes, and small clubs where she had been seen, piecing together fragments of her last days. Witnesses described her as polite, sometimes distant, often hopeful about finding work in film. The city, already fascinated by the glamour of the movie industry, now found itself staring into its own reflection, a place where dreams and danger shared the same narrow streets. The investigation unfolded with the slow precision of mid-century police work. Detectives canvassed neighborhoods, knocking on doors, showing photographs, and recording statements in thick, leather-bound logs. They traced Elizabeth Short's movements through hotel registers, taxi receipts, and letters found among her belongings. The forensic team examined every item with the limited but evolving tools of the 1940s: powder for latent prints, chemical tests for blood traces, and magnifying lenses for fiber comparison. Evidence was sealed in paper envelopes, labeled and logged into chain of custody forms typed on manual machines. At the police headquarters, maps of Los Angeles were pinned with colored tacks marking sightings and leads. Officers followed up on each, driving long hours through foggy streets and neon-lit boulevards. The public's reaction was immediate and intense. Candlelight vigils appeared near the site of discovery, and strangers left flowers at the edge of the lot. Parents kept children indoors after dark, and rumors spread through diners and streetcars. The press gave the case a name that would never fade, amplifying both fascination and fear. Detectives faced mounting pressure from city officials and the public, yet every promising lead seemed to dissolve under scrutiny. They interviewed servicemen, actors, and acquaintances, each offering fragments of truth or self-serving stories. The morgue's records were reviewed again and again, looking for overlooked details. Forensic photographs were compared under magnifiers, searching for patterns or tool marks that might point to a suspect. The city's rhythm slowed under the weight of uncertainty, and the investigation became not just a search for a killer, but a mirror reflecting the anxieties of post-war Los Angeles. As weeks turned into months, the case expanded beyond the city's borders. Letters claiming responsibility arrived at newspaper offices, some written in careful script, others scrawled in uneven lines. Detectives traced postmarks, examined handwriting, and compared them to known samples, but none proved authentic. Theories multiplied. Some pointed toward figures in the entertainment industry, others toward transient drifters or medical professionals with disturbing skill. Each new suspect brought a surge of attention, followed by disappointment when evidence failed to hold. The media's involvement grew relentless, with front-page headlines speculating on motives and secret lives. Police struggled to separate fact from rumor, often finding that witnesses had been influenced by what they read. Forensic experts re-examined photographs, searching for overlooked clues, while detectives pursued leads as far as San Diego and San Francisco. The department's files thickened with reports, interviews, and forensic notes, filling drawers and cabinets. Inside the precinct, fatigue set in, yet the determination to solve the case never fully waned. Officers revisited the original crime scene, walking the perimeter again, studying the terrain under different light, hoping to see what they had missed. Theories involving organized crime, jealousy, and psychological compulsion were all considered, but none could be proven. The case became a study in frustration, a collision between meticulous police work and the limits of available technology. By the end of that year, the investigation had generated thousands of pages of documentation, but no definitive suspect. Still, the name Elizabeth Short remained etched into the city's consciousness, a symbol of innocence lost amid the glitter of Hollywood's promise. Decades later, the mystery endures, its details preserved in brittle paper files and fading black and white photographs. Historians, criminologists, and amateur sleuths continue to revisit the evidence, each generation bringing new methods and renewed curiosity. Advances in forensic science, DNA profiling, digital imaging, and database analysis have prompted periodic reviews, though the trail remains cold. The lot where her body was found has long since been built over, yet locals still recall the story in hushed tones. Documentaries, books, and museum exhibits explore the case not for spectacle, but for understanding. How a single crime could expose the fragile boundary between aspiration and exploitation. For many, Elizabeth Short represents more than a victim. She embodies the vulnerability of those drawn to the bright lights of Hollywood, seeking opportunity in a city that could be both generous and cruel. The detectives who once worked the case have all passed, their notes archived, their questions unanswered. Still, each anniversary draws quiet remembrance, a reminder that behind the legend was a real young woman whose life ended far too soon. The unsolved nature of the case continues to challenge investigators and storytellers alike, urging caution against myth and respect for truth. In the end, the story remains suspended between fact and folklore, a haunting echo of post-war Los Angeles. The city has changed, its skyline taller, its streets busier, but the mystery persists, an unresolved chapter that continues to whisper through time, asking not for sensationalism, but for remembrance.